Hello everyone, I'll come straight to the point. I am very disturbed by a programme that was aired on the BBC last week. It showed two areas, Harlesden and Kingston. I believe the programme was trying to show how the coronavirus is spread from persons to persons and to highlight the differences between a deprived area and an affluent area. Now, I should first point out that I've been in Harlesden for over 40 years, so I'm quite biased about Harlesden and feel very passionate, should I say. But nevertheless, I watched the programme and I believe that it was taken at 7 o'clock in the morning where the shutters were all down. It was very dark and the interviewer interviewed 3 people from the care profession. Now, as I understand it, this programme was trying to show that if you live in a deprived area, you are more likely to spread the disease than if you live in an affluent area. Now, as I said, from the programme I could see that there was a bus stop and people boarding the bus. Now, I want to make this very clear about Harlesden. The houses in Harlesden are very costly. You cannot be poor to afford a house in Harlesden. If you are working in a good job, then yes, you can afford a house in Harlesden. Whether you be black, white, Chinese, Indian, whatever. Now, as I said, she talked about areas being deprived. Okay, she was talking about Harlesden. Which part of Harlesden did she actually interview? Because from where I was watching the programme, she interviewed people coming from work. There are people going to work at that time of the morning, postmen, doctors, nurses, retail workers. She did not interview this fairly. She took one section of the community to actually interview 3 workers of the same profession to strengthen her argument to show that Harlesden is deprived and as such they will spread the disease further than somebody living in Kingston. Now, as I said, what was very clear to me was that she took it at that time of the morning. It was very dark, dismal. She showed Harlesden in a very poor light. Then the next part of the video, she went and she showed Kingston, where it was very bright. I don't know what time it was because it didn't state it, but I would say it was maybe early morning, late morning, should I say, or early afternoon, not quite certain. But anyway, I saw ducks floating in the lake. She interviewed some people who were talking about how spacious it was and how clean it was, etc., and so on and so on and so on. Now, when she's going to talk about deprived, you have to be clear what you are saying. Harlesden is a melting pot. There's people from all different backgrounds living in Harlesden. So who is deprived? Which people are she talking about? Because not everybody in Harlesden is unemployed. Not everybody in Harlesden is low paid. As I said, I'm going to say it again. You have teachers in Harlesden, special needs teachers in Harlesden, support workers in Harlesden. You have post people in Harlesden, bankers in Harlesden, all of which could have been boarding that bus that morning. So how can you then take a section and interview those people and say that they represent Harlesden? It's an insult. And the thing is, I should make it clear, right? Care workers do a very good job, so I'm not having anything to say about that. I'm just saying that this programme was biased and prejudiced because it singled out what we wanted to do to show how Harlesden is spreading the disease. From my point of view, well, from everybody's point of view, we're going through a pandemic. So how did it come from we're all in it together until now we are now singling out areas which are classed as deprived and saying that because we are poor and we are not able to afford certain things, that makes us then able to spread the disease further than an area which is seen more affluent. Now, my question is this: does Kingston not have poor people? Because I didn't see this interviewer showing a clear distinction between the areas. She showed Kingston, as I said, very bright, very scenic, and she interviewed people who were talking positively about the area. Well, that's fair enough. But then she didn't interview anybody in Harlesden that could talk about the area in a positive light. As I said, different people work in Harlesden. So then to class an area as deprived, who are you classing exactly? People in Harlesden come from all different backgrounds. Black people in Harlesden own houses. White people in Harlesden own houses. Non-whites own houses. We have a park. It's called Ramwood Park. It's a very nice park, very spacious park. Anybody in Harlesden would know it. Now, why did she not interview people that live around the park area? Why did she not take the time to research the area before she put out this program? This program was biased and prejudiced on all levels. Because to say that an area is deprived, you need to know exactly who is in the area and who you are referring to. So, was she trying to say that because Harlesden has a lot of black people, non-whites, then they are automatically poor and deprived? Did she know their circumstances? She did not. So she went to Kingston and she showed it all bright and what have you. And so therefore then, all the people in Kingston, all of them have good jobs, all of them are not carers, all of them are doctors, all of them are nurses, etc. That's my point I'm making, is that this woman did not show a clear distinction. She singled out Harlesden as a hotspot for spreading the coronavirus. This is prejudice and it's scaremongering and it's scary that we at this time, when we should be drawing close and trying to find solutions to how we are going to get through this time, we have people singling out people because of their colour and their circumstances. Bear in mind, as I said earlier, she doesn't know their circumstances because there's affluent black people in Harlesden, as also there are affluent white people in Harlesden. So she has promoted that everybody in Harlesden is deprived. That is what came across to me. That's an insult to all the inhabitants of Harlesden. Now, why I say that this program should not be taken seriously because the researcher did not do her research. She interviewed, as I said, 3 people who were carers. Why not interview somebody who was going to the bank? Why not interview a doctor or a nurse, for example? So how can you then be putting out a program to show differences when you have clearly not done the work that you wanted to do? So therefore, that tells me that you already went out with your preconceived ideas and found Harlesden at a time when it was shut down, early hours in the morning. You pinpointed people who would fit your agenda to put out that Harlesden is a deprived area, so then that you could have the focus shifted to Harlesden and areas like Harlesden, then to be pinpointed and to have people to focus on black people and non-white people to be spreading the virus. Well, as I said, there's something wrong when we can be going through this time now, where we should be clinging together and, as I said, finding solutions, and people are finding ways to spread hate and discord amongst us. I think that we should be looking into ourselves. We should be looking into what we can do to make things better as individuals and as a collective. I do not feel it is productive to be showing programs that are talking, as far as I'm concerned, it is conjecture because they have no evidence to show how this is the case. I did notice that, that she interviewed Dawn Butler was in the background somewhere. Now, even more so, I mean, why on earth would the MP not know that there are different classes of people in Harlesden? And when I say classes, I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying that it is a fact that we have different people in Harlesden doing different things and different occupations. As I said before, we are not all living in poverty. We've all been affected, yes. But there are people that still have their jobs, still have their houses. Black people having these things in place, as well as white people. And the point I'm making is that I have not made any reference to say that black and white is different. This program did that, and I find it racist. And to me, I still can't get my head around the fact that how anybody could put out a program like this at this time. So I, for one, will not be taking on board that program because I know, as I say, it is inaccurate. Those findings were not based on any information. It was based on her thinking about what she wanted to do, the interviewer. Yes, and I say her, because she did not do any real research into looking into who lives in Harlesden. She did not, because if she did, she would know the differences in Harlesden in terms of occupation and in terms of living standards. That is what she did not do. So no, Kingston has poverty. Harlesden has poverty. That does not mean that either of these places are spreading the virus. The virus is spread. And yes, people must take precautions. But again, are we not doing that already? Everybody is social distancing already. So what are you trying to do to make us even more distant by then making us feel that if you live in a poor area that you are more prone to spread the disease? Well, I think that we need to look into ourselves, as I said at this time. This program should not have been aired in this way. It only serves to promote hate, and again I said discord. That is my view on the subject. Thank you. Bye.